Hey YouTube. Okay, so of course I'm super late. I'm gonna be better. The new episode comes on tonight, and I will be reviewing it tonight. Anyways, this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 3, Episode 7, The Wages of Sin. Okay, so it starts off where it left off the last time with Brad being interrogated at the police station. And of course, Detective Simmons, aka Steven, is basically trying to stir up some anger within Brad so that he can just like confess. Okay, so we know the episode ended in him saying, "Yes, I killed it," or "I killed him," or something like that. And so Detective Stevens looked at that as like a confession. And Brad, and we all know that Brad used to be in the military. I believe it was the Army. And as we know, a lot of people that sometimes are in like war zones or combat zones, or they have seen people get killed, or they've even killed people themselves, they tend to have a little bit of PTSD or sometimes severe cases. So in this case, we see him going through some PTSD because he's reliving moments of when he actually killed someone's child or baby when he was out at war. So that was him like releasing that. So that's what he was actually confessing to, because he didn't know that there were kids in there. He was just following orders. Now, at the same time, the detective is trying to get him to say, "Yeah, you killed the baby. You killed Alex's baby." And he's like, "No, you know what it's like. You were in the military, and I didn't mean to kill the baby." Like, he's really breaking down. So the detective Simmons keeps poking at him, and he's like, "I know you killed Alex's baby. I know you did. And Randall. I mean, think about it. The black guy next door was messing with your wife." And then he said, "What does black have anything to do with anything?" He was like, "Come on, man. It's a black man, so that makes it even worse." So he's trying to play the race card on him, and he's like, "Dude, like you're throwing it out there, and I'm not catching it. Like, I don't care about him being black." And so Detective Simmons is like, "Oh, of course you do. Like, let me stereotype you." Okay, so then all of a sudden he's like, "You know what? I'm done with this. I'm not saying anything else without a lawyer." And I'm thinking, Brad, you should have said that a long time ago, okay? Because then he wouldn't have gotten you this fired up. At this point, Brad is like looking into the camera, he's yelling, he is like pissed off to the highest level of pissed hippie. Okay, so then Detective Simmons leaves out because Brad is like, "What you gonna do? You gonna arrest me? Like, what you gonna do? I didn't do anything." Okay, so Detective Simmons kind of like pisses me off because he goes out there to a black officer and he tells the black officer, "Go in there and stand next to him and see what he does, see if he gets irritated." And then so the black officer is like, "Oh, you must have played the race card on him." And I'm thinking, why are you going along with this? Like, this is like, I feel like y'all being like real like conniving and like sneaky. How about you get some real proof and evidence that he is the only or primary suspect? Perhaps if you're not getting anything out of him, you need to look elsewhere, like her racist parents, since you want to play the race card. Okay, anywho, so then it goes to Marcie, Esperanza, and Kelly. So, um, Esperanza comes back into the room and basically she gives them an update on Brad, talking about how he's now asking for a lawyer. So, Esperanza says she has like other thoughts, and they're like, "What are you thinking? Are you saying you don't think that Brad did it?" She's like, "I'm just saying I don't think he's that type of person." And Marcie is actually starting to agree with her as well. And Esperanza, although she's the one that drives me crazy, she's the only one that's thinking logically. Okay, who else hates black people? Who else would hate this situation more than Randall? Well, more than Marcie and Brad. Who would want this baby to disappear and Randall to disappear? Ding, ding, ding. Alex's parents. And I'm thinking, it took y'all all this time. And Kelly was like, "Girl, I don't know. I ain't never interacted with them. She ain't never talked about them." Duh. Because it's a little awkward when you tell your black friend, like, "Oh, yeah, my parents are racist." Like, I'm never talking about that. Okay. Anywho, so next thing you know, she decides, to say, "I don't know for sure, so I don't want to say it, but I really think that." And Marcie at this point is kind of breaking down because she's like, "You know what? It's really hard when you love two men and they're like, 'Love? You love Brad? Like, I know you love Randall, that was your husband, but you love Brad?" She's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Girl, y'all hooked up one time and y'all have a common factor is that your spouses cheated on you with each other, so now you think you love him. Girl, you don't even know him. Like, you don't even know what he was doing the night that all of this happened. You were so against him, now all of a sudden you love him, and you're pregnant on top of that. So I'm just gonna say these are your emotions, your hormones getting the best of you. Okay, so Marcie says, she has to be wrong. And how could she be wrong about two men that she loves? She just can't trust men. She just, whatever. So Kelly didn't know that. And then Marcie says, don't judge me. But we all know that Kelly does nothing but judge people. Although we know she has a little criminal background, but whatever. So then they say, Kelly says, well, we all have some blame in this, basically. Like, we knew what was going on, even when you decided to cheat on Randall with Brad. Like, none of us were saying anything. Basically, the fact that we were all just trying to, like, keep our mouths shut, we were letting the situation get out of control, and we thought we were controlling the situation. But really, had this stopped a long time ago, all of this wouldn't have drawn out to be this big. Okay, so next thing you know, oh, she did say that her grandma used to say that the wages of sin is death. So Marcie's like, what? Do you think Randall's dead? Do you think the baby is dead? And she's like, no, I'm just saying, like, the wages of sin is death. So all this sin puts death to all of the good things that could have or were happening in our lives. Like, everything is just turning to filth, to ashes, to dust, because this sin, this one thing, has just created all of this chaos. Okay, so, Marcie, she wants to go and see Louise at the hospital because that's her mother-in-law, and she wants to make sure she's okay. Okay, so meanwhile, Kelly walks Esperanza to her car. Kelly says that she doesn't think, well, Esperanza, that's when she says she doesn't think that Brad did it, and she thinks it was Alex's parents, and they had that whole conversation. So then she decides to leave to go to the station to find out more information. Okay, so of course, before she leaves, she just has to run into Eddie because we always have a relationship. I mean, a conversation with Esperanza and Eddie, and it really sickens me because she talks about how much of a bad person he is, and she hates him. But you talk to him every chance you get, and rarely is it about your child. So anywho, she's basically trying to get Alex's parents' address or their information from Eddie because, come to find out, that's actually his aunt and his uncle. Now we all know that Eddie hates Alex, and she's like the biggest thought to him, but she wants this information. So of course Eddie won't reveal this information because he knows, oh yeah, this is probably true. I'm not helping you. Okay, so da 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 da. Kelly comes outside. Kelly and Eddie start going back and forth like they always do because Eddie is racist himself. Okay, anywho, so then Alex gets dropped off by the trucker in the middle of nowhere. Then we see the nurse. The nurse comes into the room because Pete is in the hospital. Pete is like trying to get up. He sees a man sitting outside the door and he's freaking out. He's like, no, this is somebody working for Eddie. They're coming to kill me. And she's like, no, no, just calm down. That is your FBI detail. Calm down. You cannot keep moving like this. Get some rest. He's like, no, no, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And I'm like, Pete, calm down. Like, lay down. Like, this is your problem. You did not listen before when Lucian told you to chill out. Stop looking into this investigation. He has it under control. You can't handle this. You are a rookie in the game. He didn't want to pay attention. He's always so eager, and that eagerness is what got him in this position that he's in right now. And he's still acting very eager, and that's why he ends up in an even worse situation by the end of this episode. So basically, he's not calming down. Then he gets on the phone and he calls Lucian and he tells Lucian there's this guy sitting outside of my door. Lucian is like, I know it's FBI detail. Somebody hooked you up with the FBI. And really we know it's Lucian, but Lucian can't tell him that he's FBI. He's like, no, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And he's not, at first he wasn't remembering much, but now he's having flashbacks of the day he got shot, and he knows that it was actually Ben that kind of like set him up and he wouldn't come to help him, and all these dudes were shooting at him. And he actually gave a copy of the tape from the convenience store and he saw what was on it and he told Lucian that. He gave it to the captain, and he gave it to Natalie. Now we all know the captain is shady too. So this, like, Lucian is putting all of this together in his head. Like, okay, you gave it to the captain. The captain is in on it because the captain didn't say anything. Okay, I really wish you wouldn't have done that, but okay. So this makes Lucian's job even harder. So, you know, Pete is freaking out. I can't go to sleep in here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I'm a dead man. And Lucian is like, just chill out. Go to sleep, whatever. So the nurse decides to come in there because Pete won't calm down. She gives him some medicine to put him asleep. And he is like terrified to go to sleep because he just knows Eddie's going to come in there and kill him. And I thought he was hallucinating at one point, but Eddie really shows up. And I'm thinking, where is the FBI? Like, if you need to go to the bathroom, you need to have somebody on standby, like somebody to come in and stand there while you go to the bathroom. What are you doing? Like, you cannot leave this man like unattended. And that is what happened. And Eddie comes into the room and he has some type of injection that he's going to put in his arm that hopefully Pete doesn't die. I mean, he's a stupid little boy, but I really hope he don't die because he's just a kid. Okay, anywho, yeah, I had to take notes. Nurse gave him medication. Yeah, Natalie and Lucian are waiting in the hospital, of course, and the pill is wearing off, so Natalie's starting to get stressed out again. She sees the doctor come out of the room, and the doctor is like breaking the bad news to this other family, and so she feels for them, and she feels like, oh my gosh, she's gonna do the same thing with us. So the doctor goes up to her, and he's like, it's really not looking good. He basically has a 12% chance of survival. It has punctured his lungs and all kinds of things. And if he makes it through the night, a big if, and the doctor even admitted he doesn't think that he will, but if he makes it through the night, then that will increase his chances of survival. Now, of course, we all know that the unexplainable happens on Tyler Perry's show, so Joey probably will be alive. But in the case that he's not, the doctor did say, Natalie, I have to ask you this. If something were to happen to him, we have a lot of other people in this hospital that are waiting for organs. Can he be an organ donor and donate his organs to save a life? So Natalie is like, and who needs these organs? He said, we have a lot of different kinds of people. Okay, well, how many of them are black? And are you giving it to a black person? Solution is like, Natalie, calm down, not right now. And the doctor is like, excuse me? She's like, I didn't stutter. You heard me. You're not about to kill one black man to save a white man's life. No, you need to figure out who you're giving it to. And I'm thinking, I really never thought of it that way. And I don't think, not to say that every hospital, like, accurately, or they do their practice like morally correct. But I would hope that they don't just give up on one patient just to give an organ to another patient. So, we'll see what happens with that. But the doctor was disturbed by that, so he walked away. Okay, so then, yeah, I'm gonna do better. It hasn't been so long. The bullet shattered his rib cage, his heart, and his lungs were affected. All they can do is wait at that moment, and Lucian tells her, don't take it out on the doctor. She's like, you know what, just go work, go do whatever you need to do. I need some space. So clearly she's going through cycles of like grieving right now. She doesn't know what's going to happen. Um, then next thing you know, we see Randall finally, because I've been waiting on Randall, and this week I really hope that we make some progress with Randall's storyline. Whatever the case, we see Randall, he's inside that box. It seems as if he has blood all over his face now. I don't know how that happened because in previous episodes he didn't have blood all over him. But whatever the case, they like flip the box out of whatever truck or whatever he's inside. They open up the box and you think he's about to get out, but he was screaming and making so much noise. But the only reason they opened the box was to hit him in the head with the shovel so that he could be knocked out again. So that definitely should call for a concussion, but in Tyler Perry world, it probably won't. I don't know if there's a way out of this, but hopefully it starts happening this week because this episode was mighty slow. Anywho, like, comment, and subscribe, and check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Check back tonight for my next video. Okay, bye.